Do you know the real Yuta Okkotsu? The smiles, the enjoyment with his friends, and the kind of person who will save those that need to be saved. Is that really Yuta? What if I told you Yuta Okkotsu has a dark side? A part of himself that has been there since he was a little child, hidden under the smile, that has not yet been revealed. Usu! What's up guys, my name is Jigxiao here, and leave a like. I'm aiming around 50 likes and I believe in you guys to be able to do so. Also subscribe as we're trying to hit 15k before the end of the year. Now let's explore the dark side of Yuta Okkotsu. From volume 0, they have shown to us that he was the person to curse Rika. Being related to Gojo and having a strong special grade curse spirit couldn't all be a coincidence. Yuta cursing Rika most likely happened due to his curse energy seeming to manifest certain situations. In that instance, his pure desperation and the selfish nature of not wanting the curse to die has led to the existence of the special grade curse spirit, Rika. Yuta wasn't aware of this clearly shown when he was crying at the fact that he cursed her. He instead blamed her for everything. Even Maki in volume 0 called Yuta out and said this: "It's written on your face, you're branding yourself as a good person. It's sickening. You've been passive your whole life, haven't you?" This adds to the fact that Yuta has been living a two-faced lifestyle. Maki explained it to us. Yuta also goes ahead and agrees with her based on the conversation, meaning there's an untapped side to him that we've not seen. Now, throughout the movie, he makes an effort to bond with his friends and save people, but when someone hurts his friends, Maki Zenin, Toji Maki, or Panda, this unleashes a side of Yuta no one ever sees. This hidden rage, which unlocks his untapped potential to rival the strongest, Geto. During this time, his first instinct was to kill. He knew the man who decided to try and murder his friend should be murdered and killed in the process. He didn't care about nothing else anymore if it wasn't to do with his friends. Now when he began to heal Maki, Yuta Okkotsu felt so disrespected. The fact that Rika tried to come into the mix and take Maki away. He got serious and made Rika upset in the process, telling her to handle Maki more careful than a butterfly or flower, which Rika asked, "Don't get mad at me, Yuta." And this brings Yuta back to his normal self and consoles her in the process. It looks a little bit similar to what Maki was saying before, wanted to brand himself as a good person. But when it comes to the people he cares about, Yuta definitely had no issue expressing his hatred to Geto for doing anything at all to his friends. After Yuta hit Geto with a black flash, there was a section of dialogue which best describes Yuta. Yuta, ignorant of the reason why Geto is doing what he's doing in the first place, doesn't matter because all he wants to do is be with his friends, which is the reason he wants to kill Geto in the first place. This displays the real flaw in Yuta. He constantly believes in fighting to protect, and to believe it's okay he is alive and not for what is right. Geto points this out and explains why this is egotistical, which is a side to Yuta that is shown in bits and bobs. He also uses the constant self-affirmation to try and portray he is correct in his decision, making him big himself up in the fight to make himself feel more convinced that he needs this to happen and this is the right answer even if it is wrong. This is similar to Geto. Furthermore, during the fight, he offers himself as a sacrifice to release more curse energy from Rika as a similar kind of binding vow. But after finding out that Rika wasn't the person that was cursing him, but he was the one that was cursing Rika, it hit him. The fact that he rejected her death was perhaps just a normal humane thing, because you don't want the loved one to go. But this is just the root of how dark it really is. Curses someone who wanted to go to the afterlife to pretty much stay with him. Fast forward down the chapters, we see that there's a point where Yuta wanted to kill Yuji. He was already having a plan in motion at the time. He would never purposely go out of his way to hurt his friends' friends. Naoya Zenin, on the other hand, was blackmailed to get the operation to save Yuji in motion. This was telling the higher ups Yuji is dead. As Yuta has a discussion with Yuji, he then asks, "Why are you doing all this?" In which Yuta responds, "You are important to the people who are important to me." It shows the level of attachment that he has towards his friends, almost too attached sometimes. It feels like without his friends, his worth in life might be nothing. Although on surface it's amazing to have so much loyalty for your friends, he does seem a tad obsessive with the friend that he talks about. I'll explain that a bit more later on. Next we have Yuta Okkotsu in the Sendai colony, in which we have already a look of someone who is playing no games. He comes to the realization while facing Kuroshi he was not there during the Shibuya arc. Everyone is probably tired fighting non-stop. He wants to be the substitute, the person who steps up for his friends. But he also wants to burden himself with getting all the points and being able to prevent Gojo from killing Kenjaku. This is a sign of him willing to take on the burden of everyone. But one thing that seems strange is knowing that everyone has a plan. Why did he say I alone will get the 400 points? Does seem a bit off his character and his compass, especially based on his expectation of how he appreciates his friends, unless Yuta did not rate them or believe in their ability to gather their points, showing a sense of underestimation. And any fight Yuta's in, by the way, it seems really dark. Anyone that opposes him seems to bite the wrath of Yuta. In addition, Yuta shows he finds it very difficult to empathize with people, especially when asking Yuro if she has friends or a lover. Similar to Geto, he doesn't try to understand and lets them know he doesn't comprehend them at all. This seems to be a common theme in Jujutsu Kaisen with the special grade sorcerers. It seems everyone has difficulty understanding them, and that can lead to long-term trust issues or problems in general. But an interesting part in all of this, which personifies Yuta Okkotsu as a character, he asks why put all that effort just for yourself. This all may not seem dark on the surface, because Yuta is wondering and struggling to understand her, just because he has friends that he desires to fight for, people that he would die for. He is very much happy with putting any friend above the right thing, even if someone has a valid personal reasons. Further on the dialogue, Yuta Okkotsu also told Yuro, if you only live for yourself, there will one day come a day where you can't go on. He's saying his worldview to accommodate and convince Yuro, but the egocentric self of him believing that what he's saying is the truth and is the fuel for Yuro to snap out and claim. The only ones who get to say such things are the people who already made a name for themselves. To give an analogy of this is like a rich person telling an average income person or poor person, stop complaining and get more money. This really shines a light on the lack of empathy from Yuta. Just due to the fact he reached a somewhat comfortable position does not mean he can claim he knows the answers, related to what Maki said about him trying to put a face of being a good person. After the fight amongst all of this, the day we see Yuta reveal his darkness, perhaps foreshadowed by Yuro as the only way to reach the next level. She claims, the ones who are truly strong are not the people who depend on their friends and rely on others. It's the people who let themselves have no attachment and care, borderline natural disasters, referencing to Kuna. What Yuta does at the end is a real representation of the truth. He acknowledges the fact any type of words he wanted to speak onto Yuro, it wouldn't work because he is blessed. He understands the situation of everyone is different and he knows his position is privileged. Yuta asks them to give him the points. It seems Ishiguro knows he would have been dead if the rules didn't change, in which Yuta lets him know, you should thank my friends for that. Something about Yuta Okkotsu always has an underlying tone of darkness and truth. It looks like the friends that he has seems to be the bridge that holds him together and makes him strong as he is. But in Jujutsu Sorcery, it's a one-player sport. It's not like baseball, as Satoru Gojo says, because no matter how many allies you have around you, you will die alone. This might mean that Yuta's weakness will be because of his friends, and also the dark side of himself can fully manifest when he is alone and not wanting to go back to the days from before he had friends. And that concludes the video. I love talking about Yuta Okkotsu. This is a character along with Hakari that always stands out and thus makes them some of my favorite characters in this show, or anime, or manga, whatever you want to choose. Check some videos I have up on the screen, and as I say to the new and old people that come and visit my channel, Njana.